One of the tools that I started exploring during our COVID teaching was Canvas Collaborations, and it was this English 2 class that really got me started with it because half of my students were in person, half were out of the building, and then they'd switch every day. And with these students, sometimes they weren't great about completing their work. So to access collaborations, you simply click on the Collaborations button in the navigation menu. Your students do not need this option available to them because they can access collaborations in a different way. So you don't need to make this visible in your menu. You'll notice I did quite a few collaborations with this group. A collaboration is essentially a Google document that you own so that you can monitor student views of the document, student contributions, and that you ultimately have ownership control over. So let me show you how to get started with collaborations. Again, navigate to the collaboration section of the menu. And you're going to just start a new collaboration. If you've got no collaborations, this will automatically come up. If you've got collaborations in there, then start a new collaboration will be a gray button up in the right-hand corner. So for my AP class, we never did collaborations, but that's okay. I'm going to create one now. You can choose whether you want to collaborate with Google Docs or with Microsoft Office. I'm a Google person, so I tend to work in Docs, but to each his own. Start by giving your collaboration a name. So I'm just going to call this one KP Act 5 Closed Reading Activity. And you can add a description if you want. That will just appear in the descriptor for your collaboration once you create it. We'll call this Sample Activity. All right. Before I actually go ahead and start collaborating, I have to choose who I want to collaborate with. In a previous video, I showed you how to set up groups in Canvas. So you can use groups, or you can add individual people. Now, if I pressed Start Collaborating, anyone in Group 2, Group 4, Ryan, and Erin would all be in one singular document. If you want a collaboration for each independent group, then you would have to create a new collaboration and assign it to each group independently. I actually don't want any groups in this one. What I want is Miss Preston, my test student. So I'm going to go in and add Miss Preston. Notice when I made a mistake, if I added a student that I didn't want, I just clicked on their name in the right-hand column and that would automatically take them out. Same thing if I want to add a student, I just select them from the left-hand column and they get put in the document. So I'm going to take Victoria out and I'm going to start this collaboration with Miss Preston. Once I click Start Collaborating, my Google Doc will be created, and you'll notice it looks like any other Google Doc. It's got the name that I assigned in Canvas in the upper left-hand corner, and if I open the Share settings, you'll see that it's shared with who I selected from my Canvas course. Now that person can edit, but they can't delete the document, because ultimately I am the owner of the collaboration, which is what I like, because then that gives me insights into what my students are doing in the document. For example, I can look at the viewer statistics, so I can see Kylie has not accessed her assignment yet, so if she tells me she's struggling with it, I could say, well, I know you haven't even looked at it yet. I also can see anybody who views it from St. John Vianney. So let's say Kylie adds her friend and has her friend do all the work for her. I would be able to see that. So Kylie knows she's got to do her own work. I can also see things like version history. So if I go to File, Version History, See Version History, I can see exactly who's contributing what to the collaboration. So if somebody goes in and just copy pastes a bunch of answers in, I'll see that in the version history. Or if, let's say I have 4 students working in this document and I see one has not contributed anything, I would also note that and I might pull that student aside and say, how come you're not helping your group? What exactly have you done? I might even lower their score because they haven't actually done anything on the document. All right, so that's basically how to set up your collaboration, which would be step 1. And now you'll notice when I click back over to my course, I can see that collaboration listed right there. I'll see who owns it, which is me, and when I created that document. Now, if I wanted to get rid of the collaboration, I could always press the trash can, and then it would ask me if I just want to get rid of the collaboration on Canvas or if I want to delete from Google Docs entirely. So I would get rid of the document. My students would no longer have access to it either. I tend to choose that to keep my Google Docs clear, but you do what you want to do. You can also choose the pencil to edit. So if I want to go back later and add maybe a student editor in, maybe I want Paige to edit Miss Preston's work, I can do that. Or I can change the description or title and then just simply update the collaboration.